The elephant in the room is the question we got to ask you. The Jason Taylor thing. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, this sounds like wow, this is a coup, dude. So from what I read, so he is off the field role pass rush specialist.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to us a little bit about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mario initially, when all this started, probably about a month ago or whenever it was that he started having his conversations with JT, it was, hey, can we get you on staff? Can we get you to be a defensive ends coach? And JT's got two kids in college. He's got a daughter who's going to Aquinas. He's got another newborn child. He's a busy man. And, all of these kind of roles, while they require great dedication, I think it also requires flexibility for a guy like him. And he's
Right.
got a ton of money, right, that he's made in his playing career. It's not like he needs it for the money, right? Doesn't need it for the money. I think this is more of a passion project for Jason. He likes coaching. I think Cristobal sold him on the idea of having a role in some capacity, which is working with pass rushers, making Miami's pass rushers better. And it appears that, he's reached a deal with Roderick Wright to be the defensive ends coach. Roderick Wright, of course, was with the Dolphins. So now you kind of have Jason working with a guy who he played with, right, and knows and can communicate with easily. So I think this is sort of a combination deal where you got two guys that are going to take on a project together, and that's the way Mario's ultimately shaped his staff. He wants great on-field coaches, and he wants great off-field coaches, analysts, guys that are going to be able to break down film and help these guys reach an elite level, and that's what he's doing. He's doing what they have at Alabama. This is to me a carbon copy of what the system Nick Saban set up at Alabama, to have great influencers and people around the program.
It's to me this is a coup, dude, to have a Hall of Famer. I mean, you're a young defensive end. How do you not want to go there? And then Roderick Wright. How long has he been? Because I didn't do my homework on the Texas San Antonio
3
defensive
years.
staff. How many?
He was 2019 is when he went there, and he was defensive line coach, I think, for the first year. Then he's been the run defense coordinator the last couple years, and before that, he was at East Carolina.
So he got there just after the kid that went to New Orleans.
Right. Correct.
Marcus,
the kid that was drafted, you're talking about?
Yeah, he's
Davenport,
a badass.
or I forget what his
Davenport, Marcus Davenport, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it Marcus Davenport? Yeah. So Davenport left, and then he got. So that's what I was wondering. Wow, did this guy find and develop Davenport? I was wondering because I'm like, whoa, then this guy's a badass, dude. Because Davenport. Because when I got to the Senior Bowl, Davenport was like the talk of it. It's like, oh, you got to see this kid from Texas San Antonio, this and that, and it was. That was the end of Coker's run, if I'm correct, right? When did Coker leave Texas San Antonio? Like,
it's been a while.
18,
it's been a little while
17,
now.
18 or 19, right?
Yeah. I mean, he started the program there, basically got it off on the right foot, and they were winning pretty quickly there with him. I can't remember what year Coker stepped down. I know this. I know this guy's been coaching for a decade now. He's been on college staff for over a decade, so it's not like he's some newborn baby or something that's inexperienced. He's 37, I think, 37 years old. And he's been around the game plenty, and was a good player himself. He won a national championship at Texas, right? He was part of that team with Vince Young and the one that beat USC. So, he'll be another guy. I mean, I just think, I drove up to Lakeland on Tuesday for that Mario speech at the church where he got a chance to speak to the 5-star cornerback Cormani McClain. And I talked to Mario for like 15-20 minutes, and the thing I sense from just talking to him, A, he's exhausted with how hard he's been working, and B, he loves the whole process of building a staff. Like, this is what he enjoys, like recruiting, whether it's high school players or coaches. He loves this process. So like he really loves it. And you would think most guys, after 3 or 4 months of interviews, like they'd be, I'm tired of this, or let's get these guys in there. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's more guys that are added here in analyst type roles in the weeks and months ahead. I mean, the Alonzo Highsmith thing has been out there for a while as a potential GM of football. That'll probably happen here in soon. And then there's other just people in football in general. But his whole thing is he wants guys that are going to fit Miami and fit his vision, that are going to be willing to work hard, to grind, to make this thing a championship power. And he enjoys that process. He really does. He likes and I'm telling you, he's probably talked to over 100 people about jobs at Miami.
Okay. Right. That's interesting, man. So I mean, that like they need to accomplish something, but this is now starting to, get a feel of that Jimmy Johnson staff, that was freaking legendary with all those guys on that staff. And a lot of those guys went to other places and became head coaches and all over the place and even national championships. I mean, Ogeron was under that staff, right? Wasn't he or did he come right after?
And now that you mentioned Ogeron, he'll be somebody that I overheard Mario telling people that will be coming down to speak to the team at some point. Mario's got like a list of all these great I think Jimmy's going to be back on campus here in the spring. Like, how Saban, you've seen how Saban does those where he's got people from all walks of sports coming inside. I'm telling you, man, it's the same playbook. It's the same playbook. Mario's got all these people lined up. Orgeron's another one of them. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I know I killed you.
No, it's great. I mean, I just think it's fantastic. It's just, I mean, they need to accomplish something, but man, this is an impressive staff, dude. I mean, this is such an impressive staff that I'm going to be shocked if you don't win big. Put it that way. That's kind of. I'm expecting big recruiting. I'm expecting big production overall. With the kind of money you're spending, the names I'm seeing, am I wrong here that I should not be thinking like that?
I think they're set up to win the division the first year. Whether or not they're good enough to beat Clemson at the end of the year with that monster defensive line that Clemson has, we'll find out, right? But I think they're certainly, to me, going in on paper, I would say they're the favorites to win the Coastal, because the other three teams that had great quarterbacks, two of them are gone, right? Pittsburgh and North Carolina, they're both gone. And then Virginia lost its head coach and its entire offensive line, which wasn't good to begin with, but their starters are all gone. They all entered and left through the transfer portal. Those are the teams that you had the biggest trouble with last year. You lost to Virginia and North Carolina. And so to me, this is the year where it's sort of the perfect storm for them to right off the bat win the division, get into the championship game, and then we'll see what happens from there. But 9-10 wins, that's what I expect with this group. They have holes to fill, though. I mean, linebacker to me still remains number one. I would say defensive ends is number two. Who emerges as the number 2 cornerback is number 3. Right tackle, just Jalen Rivers come back healthy and perform at a high level. There's guys that are hurt. Okay, practice starts Monday. There's going to be guys that are not going through contact stuff because they didn't go through the fourth quarter program. And I can tell you, Mario looks at this roster still and says, we can be a lot better. We can be a lot better than what we are. And so I think from that perspective, talent, development, all of that's going to get better eventually. But where is it right now? It's still 7-5. It's still a 7-5 roster, right? It hasn't changed that much from the 7-5 record I had a year ago.
It's a 7-5 roster because of the coaching.
I would say yes. I would say that has something to do with it. But I would also say, that I think the other part of it is there's some guys that are still here that shouldn't be here.
I get that, but even those guys will end up playing better under better coaching. Period. Yes. You know what I mean? And some of them may not end up playing, and then they'll get the message and they'll finally leave. You know what I mean? Because if they haven't gotten the message by now, eventually they'll get the message when they get outplayed by the next guy, and then they'll have to move on. They'll have no choice. So either way, you'll weed those people out that you need.